The internet has ruined all of our favorite hobbies, yes, but it is not that simple. More than ever, it feels like everything has to be a side hustle nowadays or shared with as many people as possible to be even worth trying. And online, there is examples of thousands, maybe even millions of people who are way more capable of building and sharing their hobbies than you will ever be. So why even try? We used to listen to vinyl records in the company of friends in our homes. Now we just listen to lo-fi beat playlists on Spotify. We used to collect Beanie Babies, but now we're throwing fists in lineups in order to buy a Labubu. We used to play video games with our homies in our parents' basements on split screen, and now we're watching other people get paid 6 figures per hour to live stream a mobile game. The truth is, hobbies aren't really encouraged in our society in general unless you are buying something or monetizing something in some sort of way. And very likely, it is only going to get worse. I don't know why I started the video with my microphone out. Honestly, I was just doing a bit of a test, and then we got here. So let me just get this thing out of my hand here for a second. Okay, so I'm gonna say right off the top here that I am not a hobbies guy, and maybe this is partly why I'm the perfect person to tell this story, because I turn everything that I do into a video, and I would say that I am actually jealous of hobby people, like people who enjoy stuff and just do it out of the inertia that's in their heart for that sort of thing. Because there are people who are just ripping hobbies constantly, like they're crocheting little hats for their dogs or something, or they're playing Minecraft just because they enjoy it. And I'm jealous. Now I have started drawing. I draw somewhat consistently, and I did it just because I knew I needed to have some sort of hobby that wasn't on a screen. And then I saw PewDiePie make a video or two about his journey of learning how to draw, and I was like, fuck, I should make a series about that too. It has taken every ounce of self-respect that I have left to not make like a TikTok series about how great and amazing it is to you know, have this hobby. But let's be honest, I'd have to get a lot better. So just like all stories, there are two sides, but in this situation, I think the story of our dying hobbies has a creator side and a consumer side, and the two play off of each other really beautifully. And so we're just gonna give you some examples. If you go on to Book Talk, which is the part of TikTok where people talk about books, you'll find people reading and reviewing dozens of books in front of their shelves of books that they purchased to tell the thousands of followers that they've now gained about the books that they can read to impress their friends on Goodreads. By the way, don't use Goodreads. It's owned by Jeffrey Bezos, and he's an asshole.
The best way to pick your job is who has the best massages.
And this, I think, is maybe the perfect manifestation of how hobbies have been cannibalized on the internet. You have people reading and reviewing books specifically for their TikTok account. The titles that they show are in many cases the popular ones that they've seen other people talking about on their TikToks. And then the viewers are then buying and reading these books to be included in the trend, but also to contribute to an online platform where your reading habits can be gamified to the point where you value quantity over quality. We made a whole video about this a while ago, which you should definitely go watch because it is fascinating and very depressing at the same time. But it also serves as a blueprint for how our consumerist world turns a common interest into a multi-pronged monetizable industry for everyone involved. And the internet is just gas on the fire. See, there's always been collectors and card traders who hunt for rare pieces or whatever, leaderboards and star players in sports and famous artists and creatives who became idols. But the way that these activities have become increasingly valued for their monetary or social value in our lives is completely inescapable now. For example, you don't want to waste all this time learning how to crochet, so you just watch your favorite creator make stuff on the internet instead. But then flip this around, right? You can't justify all the time that it takes to learn to crochet, so you start a YouTube channel where you can share your designs on the internet and make some money at the same time. It has never been easier to share and monetize your interests, passions, or hobbies. And so the expectations to post and promote yourself online is almost not a question of if, but when. When you're good enough or when you have the time, but who has the time? So if you don't have the time, then you just watch the content about the hobby that you wish you had the time to pursue. Did that even make sense? I feel like I talked myself in a circle there. Now, in many ways though, I don't think that there's anything inherently bad about consuming content about a sport or a niche interest that you don't actively practice yourself. Like, I love mountain biking content, but I've decided not to pursue that hobby because I don't want to die. But the internet has also changed our relationships to the hobbies that we do practice. As a quick aside here, I know that we tend to be a little bit pessimistic here on this channel sometimes, but I want to make it clear that the internet is not an entirely terrible thing. In fact, later in this video, we're going to talk about how the internet has actually been a pretty great place for connecting people who might not have necessarily been connected before. But I also want to tell you about the sponsor for today's video, which is also kind of positive. Today we are working with Tab for a Cause and their project with the Humane League. So an unfortunate truth is most animals on factory farms end up suffering, living in overcrowded cages, denied space to move around or live out their natural lives. 94% of animals raised for food are confined on factory farms, where corporations prioritize profit over compassion. The Humane League is aiming to change that by driving real institutional change for animals through grassroots action and corporate reform. Now imagine for a second, if every time you opened a new tab on your browser, it generated funds to help eliminate these cages and improve animal welfare for billions of animals. That'd be pretty freaking awesome, wouldn't it? Well, that's exactly what Tab for a Cause is doing. And so far, tabbers, maybe like yourself, have raised over $1.9 million for charity. So click on the link in our description to get started. Every time you open a new tab, there will be a few ads in the corner of your new tab page. These ads generate the revenue that funds the charitable impacts from Tab for a Cause, entirely for free. So invite your friends and family to join in. The more people tabbing, the more money we can raise for the Humane League. Thank you so much for sponsoring. Now let's get back into the video. Going back to the book talk thing for just a second. So Goodreads as a website has existed all the way back to 2007. And in isolation, Goodreads as a platform is a nice way to catalog your books that you've read, provide ratings or a review for the books that you liked or disliked, and you can check in on what books your friends are reading. But when you combine social platforms like TikTok, suddenly it becomes another tool for social pressure. The domino effect of Goodreads' popularity has meant that nearly every hobby now has its own Goodreads. We have Letterboxd, which is a version of this, but for film enthusiasts. The platform fits really well in the modern streaming culture that really de-emphasizes watching movies with other people. People are now watching their movies on Netflix and then they are reporting that they watched it on Letterboxd rather than just renting a movie and going and watching it together in someone's house or going to a movie theater and getting drinks afterwards. Bikers and runners are now cataloging their exercises on Strava. Hikers are doing the same thing on all trails. There's even a specialized media app for people who knit. I also think that Spotify Wrapped is a really interesting example of this because they just basically do a statistical summary of what you listen to in the year and you get to share it with like a preset sort of share this now post that you can put on social media instead of talking to people about their favorite music of that year. Essentially, if you can't monetize your hobby, somebody else will monetize your attention to it. Now, some people see these hobby apps as positive alternatives to dead-end dating apps like Tinder or really toxic social platforms like X, but just like Tinder, the platforms don't make money off of real in-person connections. They make money off of you when you return to the app. And this, I think, is really the crux. So the internet warps our relationships with hobbies in three big ways, and the first I think we need to talk about is convenience. I canceled my Spotify Premium specifically because of this, and I made a whole reel about it over on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, you should go and check it out because I post very different stuff than I post here. It's more so about my life and the choices that I'm making day to day. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Or don't. I don't know. Anyways, I found myself looking at my Spotify Wrapped every year with zero names that I recognized. I was listening to music all day, every day, but I didn't actually even know who I was listening to. I just picked whatever day list looked good that morning and went with it. And this is very common now with a lot of digital services. Movies and shows were consumed in group settings as a family or with friends as they were released. And that routine was a social glue for your community. Harry Potter was like a global phenomenon. Everybody my age was watching Harry Potter or was going to the movie theaters or they were talking about it or reading the books as they released. Like that was a big thing. And nothing's even come close to that. Like maybe Game of Thrones was pretty good because everybody watched it on HBO every week when it came out, but even that's kind of gone now. Now with streaming, we just binge watch entire shows all at once while scrolling TikTok at the same time. And there's just so much content out there now that even just making a choice on what to watch feels like a chore, but it's presented like a convenient luxury because you're not limited to what's on your DVD rack. But it's not even just the experience of the hobby itself that's been sort of watered down. In many cases, consuming content replaces the hobby in its entirety because of how much easier it is to just stay at home. You don't have to go get your discs and call up all your buddies and figure out how to get a froth session going on at the local park.
What the fuck, Richard?
You don't have to get your mountain bike out of the garage and fix it up and put it on the truck and drive somewhere just to go mountain biking and spend all that money. You get the secondhand feeling of connection to the hobby that you love without actually having to do it. And as we sort of talked about off of the top, there is a lot of social pressure to turn that interest or passion that you have into a product that can be sold. Yes, you can collect Pokemon cards, but you could also look for the really rare ones because they're worth a lot of money and that's way better. Or you could go and play guitar, but playing guitar is not really that cool unless you're gaining recognition for your skills or building into releasing music of your own someday. And this channel is actually a very interesting example of this. I always made videos with the intentions of sharing them with the world, and I think I'm kind of unique here maybe in the sense that I started making videos on YouTube like 8 years ago, but specifically with the intention of sharing my stories on the internet. I was never like a passionate filmmaker. I was never really into the filmmaking side of it. I was just really willing to put it out there. I never recreationally made videos for fun. No, is that true? Maybe I've just been in it so long, like I don't even remember what it was like to be interested in it in a low-key way. Maybe my brain's just gotten so warped from doing this as a job for so long, I don't even remember like where it started. I used to make videos for fun. I used to make videos that nobody saw. And that was all right, but I think I always had this feeling that if I was gonna make something, I might as well make something that people are gonna watch. And funny enough, Lou actually said something very similar to this about her progression of working here for this channel.
Lou edited vlogs. Like Lou, have you seen Lou's vlogs? Dude, I think we should play her vlog in this episode. Like I think we should have like, we'll be like, this is what Lou used to do. This was her passion. And then we'll just cut to like the first opening seconds of like Lou at 19 vlogging in Mexico or wherever.
I wish I was 19. It's more embarrassing because I was older than that. Like I had already started working for you when I did my vlogs.
I don't think I know of many people who vlog for fun. Is that bad to say?
My whole thing is like, I will be mortified knowing that my vlogs are seen by more than like 5 people.
You work for a YouTube channel and you are embarrassed that you would lower yourself to do a YouTube video.
No, it's not like that. It's just more like I didn't start it with the express purpose of being a vlogger. I did it because it's just kind of annoying when you have to send your family like a million pictures after every trip or like update people on your trips and stuff. So I was like, if I vlog the whole experience, I make a little like 15-minute video, I can just send that to everybody who asks me how was my time in Mexico, and then I don't have to think about it again. Nobody else is supposed to see it.
Except for the thousands of people that watch this channel.
The reason I stopped doing them was because we started ramping up work with the channel, and then I started editing on this side, so it's like, I'm sure I could, and I will eventually. I have footage from like 2023 that I still haven't edited. Like,
well, you're gonna have to after you get all these new subs.
But I also think we need to acknowledge that there is a lot of talent that doesn't get put out on the internet. There's this guy, Ari, who goes out with a portable DJ setup and he finds singers and rappers on the street to improvise sets with them. One of my favorite kinds of content out there, to be honest.
All these scalpers making the hobby hard. I'm just trying to play Pokemon cards. Please, I just want to be in the hobby, but I can't gonna keep telling them to make money.
But without fail, in every single one of these videos, there is some sort of comment that says, damn, you know, there's just hidden talent everywhere. And think about shows like The Voice and stuff, right? Like, I think we all have these talents. We all have these desires to create or explore, have fun, but now there's just more and more pressure than ever to do something with it. I guess that's sort of ironic because he's posting this stuff online, but you get what I'm saying. But the third aspect of the internetification of our hobbies is the social aspect. And in a lot of ways, I think that this is sort of a two-sided story because on one hand, I think that it's done a lot of damage to our social spaces, but it's also created a lot of social spaces that wouldn't have existed otherwise. Video games, I think, is one of the ones that really solidified this for me. When I was a kid, the idea of me playing Smash Bros. Or Halo in some dark bedroom with my friends on split screen was mortifying to them. But then I think about myself today, like most gaming online is online only. You probably don't have a clue who you're playing with. You've never met them in the real world at all. And then there's the streaming culture around gaming content that has really impacted the way that people play games too. Like you'll have people who only game when they're planning to stream because otherwise it's a waste of time. Like if you're streaming for the sake of having other people join you in that experience, I feel like you should just go and find a friend who you want to play with, you know? Like you'd rather play alone on the off chance that you get an audience member than just going and gaming with your buddy. Like that's, I think, the distance that we've created with the internet. But I do want to be careful here because I also recognize that one of the positives that the internet has introduced is the bridging of this physical distance between like-minded individuals. Online games, Discord servers, and all sorts of online communities, like Dungeons and Dragons has blown up recently. Speaking of Discord servers, actually, we created one for our Patreon members specifically, and we talk about stuff related to this channel, like goofy thumbnails or like drama that isn't really kind of worth posting on here. And it's fun, it's great. It's just like a space where you can have a casual interaction with somebody who is in the same bubble as you. This only works in groups of people that have a similar sort of connection to one another, or the group doesn't have a lot of social connection to each other except for this one thing, and that's a really cool space to be in. But all of this is to say, no judgment on my end if you're going to be using a Discord server to chat with the homies while you play League of Legends. If I had friends who also happen to be into playing video games, I would be doing the same thing with the boys. But we don't. We were all playing Halo, and Halo was online, but like not really to the same degree that it is now. And now everybody's got jobs and kids and responsibilities and stuff, you know, like there's not a lot of time for gaming. I'd also have to buy an Xbox and like, you know, figure out how it all works again. Like, my God, do you just connect? Can you play Halo online anymore? I don't even know if you can play online Halo. I'll look that up. The internet is in some ways like a digital third space for a lot of people to connect with other like-minded people. But we need this as like a jumping off point towards in-person interactions, I think. Like we need book clubs and D&D sessions and poetry nights and art meetups and yoga classes and stuff. It can't just be on the internet. And I think we actually are heading in that direction because we've seen the rise of things like arcade-themed bars and VR experiences and escape rooms and all kinds of stuff that's built specifically around our inherent desire to be around one another. And like, I don't have data on this at all, but I can only imagine that the IRL experience is becoming more popular as a result of the online ones. Because hear me out, like you don't have the time and the resources to join a tennis class once or twice a week. So instead, you go once a month to one of these one-off hobby third spaces, like the putt-putt mini bar, golf bar. Fuck. These are things that you can do with a group of friends, but that no one's necessarily gotta be really good at. Like there's no one's out here like professionally mini putt golfing. So there isn't like this pressure for us to like perform in a certain way or be outlandishly good at something and therefore receive the accolades that we think we're supposed to get and then push it into being an online thing where like now you got to be a professional. But that sadly doesn't really push us towards improving ourselves on the things that we're passionate about. All the same, it is reassuring to see that people actually want to connect with others in the real world. And it actually sort of seems like a flex today to say that you do stuff offline. You know, when you're like, yeah, just like went surfing last weekend. People are like, shit, like you left your house and went and did something? Like, how do you have money and time for that? We've thought about making a video about how offline culture has become sort of like a luxury status symbol. So let us know if you'd be interested in seeing a video about that. But in the meantime, now whenever I see somebody posting online about their creative pursuits that they're unreasonably good at, I like to imagine the thousands of other very creative and very talented people who didn't post anything online, who savored that experience and that thing for themselves, and hopefully the validation that they still feel from it. Like that is, I think, what we need to cultivate more of. I'm gonna be drawing more, hopefully, and I'm not gonna post about it. I'm not. I'm just gonna keep it right here. Maybe because I'm insecure about my drawing skills, but also because I don't need it. I'm good with the validation I receive from all of you liking these videos, keeping my bills paid by, you know, allowing me to monetize my hobby that was filmmaking 9 years ago. All right. Fuck.